Kumusta? Maligayang pagbabalik sa aking channel. We are here present to answer one question and one question only. Why Filipinos are so good at singing? If you ask the right question, if you ask any Filipino out there or someone like me, then we will have no difficulty answering this question. But someone who does not know much about the Philippines or Filipinos will probably not know the answer. All right? But I am guessing that they're gonna give us a lot of arguments in this video, and that is very interesting. Before we start though, make sure to follow me on Instagram at MusicGameNews because that is where you can DM me your suggestions. And without further ado, let's check it out.
Quiz time. Besides amazing voices, a sick sense of style, and really good agents, what do Lea Salonga, Bruno Mars, her, and Olivia Rodrigo all have in common? Stick around for the answer, but fair warning, if you want to find out, you're gonna have to do things my way.
They all have a little bit of Filipino blood in them, okay? That's what they share in common.
Welcome to the remix with Theater Moo. I'm your host, Brandon. Is it just me,
Hello,
or have
Brandon.
you noticed how some of the most popular Asian American performers on Broadway are Filipino? If you love musicals as much as I do, you immediately think of Lea Salonga, who was the first woman of Asian descent to win a Tony Award at the age of 18.
Yeah.
Salonga's boundary-breaking
She's
career
gorgeous.
includes lead roles in the Broadway revival of Flower Drum Song and Allegiance. In addition to her portrayals of Asian characters, she was also the first woman of Asian descent to play both Eponine and Fantine in Les Miserables, and is probably best known for her work as the singing voice of not one, but two animated Disney heroines, Jasmine and Mulan.
Indeed.
So, if you want to call her Princess Leia like I do, you go right ahead. The roll call of Filipino-American talent doesn't stop there. Let's talk about rising star Eva Noblezada. Like Lea Salonga, she also made her Broadway debut.
Eva who? Eva Noblezada? I've never heard of her. Maybe I should check her out. Maybe react to some of her, music and performances. Who is she?
At 18. More recently, she earned acclaim for originating the role of Eurydice in Hadestown.
Okay.
And it isn't just these two astounding women. Broadway is riddled with talented Filipinos. And looking beyond Broadway, many of the
Not
Asian
surprising.
artists we see in the popular music industry are also of Filipino descent. Bruno Mars, Olivia
Indeed.
Rodrigo, Darren Criss, Vanessa Hudgens, her, Apple Diap from the Black Eyed Peas, Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls, and many more. So, why is it that music and singing have become so ingrained in our Filipino heritage? Well, I can't help but acknowledge one of the most glaringly obvious parts of Filipino culture that might be a contributing factor. Karaoke.
Ta-da!
Karaoke comes from mashing two Japanese words together. Karapo.
It would have been my first reason as well if people had asked me this question. I mean, for the past years, I don't know how many videos of Filipinos performing either in their homes or in the street with a karaoke machine I've reacted to, So yeah, it's definitely the number one reason.
Meaning empty, and oke, short for orchestra. The literal translation
Wait.
is karaoke comes from mashing two Japanese words together. Karapo, meaning empty, and oke, short for orchestra.
Empty
The literal
orchestra?
translation is empty orchestra.
Why?
Karaoke is one of the most popular pastimes in the Philippines.
So empty orchestra as in there are no people playing the instruments. It's a machine. So no, yeah, I guess.
Pretty hard to find a Filipino household that doesn't contain a karaoke.
Hey, right, there you go. There
And
you
it's
go.
harder still to imagine a social gathering or event that doesn't feature karaoke.
Yeah.
Weddings, birthday parties, even funerals. It's that serious.
That's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
serious, in fact, that the song My Way by Frank
Oh.
Sinatra is essentially banned in all karaoke bars around the Philippines.
Why?
A social phenomenon known as the My Way killings took place between 2002 and 2012, where at least 6 people were actually killed for simply singing the song off key. I mean, we all know the old saying, it's my way or the high, I'm gonna stab you for singing badly now. Karaoke machines haven't been around forever, so how
So is that actually real? Is that song banned from karaoke machines? Is it like a legend like the number 13? You know, there is no room in a hotel with the number 13 or something like that, or even like a level 13, right? Is that true? Because it's crazy. That song is beautiful. It would be a shame. Oh.
did singing become so popular in the Philippines in the first place? How did folks pass the time at large celebrations and community events before they had microphones and neon words flashing across the TV screen? When it comes to the history and cultural heritage of the Philippines, there's a lot to dissect. For the most part, the music can be
This guy reminds me of the actor from the movie Spider-Man. You know, the last 3 Spider-Man movies. The sidekick of Spider-Man, his friend, you know, who I believe maybe also is like half Filipino or something, you know?
split into 3 distinct styles: indigenous, religious, and pop. First,
Wait.
we'll start with
Wait.
There's a lot to dissect. For the most part, the music can be split into 3 distinct styles: indigenous,
Okay.
religious, and pop.
I've reacted to
First,
all of
we'll start
those.
with the indigenous traditions. When looking at the country geographically, it's clear that the Philippines is a part of Asia. So we can assume there's going to be some influence from
Southeast
Eastern musical
Asia,
styles.
to be precise.
Although these practices used to span the entire country, nowadays, indigenous traditions are really only practiced by about 10% of the population.
Yeah.
This is where instruments like gongs, flutes, and drums come in. There are traditional songs about marriage, war victories, children's play songs, and even songs about disputes between the tribes. Although still practiced in rural and mountainous regions, many of these Eastern influenced indigenous traditions are disappearing. Urban areas
That's a
get
shame.
most of the media attention, and culturally speaking, these regions are heavily influenced by Spain and the US. The Philippines was a Spanish
Yep.
colony for 333 years. In addition to imposing new laws,
That's where
the
your last names
colonizers
come from.
also changed the language, the clothing styles, and the ways in which people could practice their faith. Catholicism is now the most common religion in the Philippines, followed by indigenous religions and then Islam. The Catholic Church influenced the music in the urban areas, adding European-style secular hymns and Hispanic flavor to the pre-existing traditional spirituals.
You know, recently I was speaking with a Filipina, and I told her that I was telling her about something that I said in one of my videos, and I said that, you know, the dominant religion in the Philippines is Christianity. And she was like, no, it's Catholicism, you know? Like, she said, Filipinos are majoritarily Catholic. And I'm like, yeah, but Catholicism is part of Christianity, right? Like, I'm not crazy. And then, like, she said yes eventually, but she had a hard time, like, accepting the fact that I said Filipinos were Christian. She said, it was, for her, it was like, they're Catholic, you know? But Catholicism is part of Christianity, right? Like,
But that's not all. The Philippines was also under American domination for 45 years, which unknowingly influenced musical styles. Which brings us to more of the pop styles known today. Despite music already being a big part of the Filipino culture, American occupiers decided to add music to the public school system. And while that might not sound like such a bad thing, it was a very selective curriculum that focused on Western-style music. This further divided the pop-infused urban centers from the traditional Eastern style.
Oh, that's her!
Sung in the more rural mountainous
That's
areas.
her! That's the girl I reacted to, the traditional girl. Yeah.
Style music. This further divided the pop-infused urban centers from the traditional Eastern style.
Yeah, I reacted to one of her performances, and it was beautiful. I had never heard singing like that before, especially not in the Philippines. I really, really enjoyed it, and this woman is extremely charming as well.
Sung in the more rural mountainous areas. Despite diverging styles, there's one thing that still holds true. Music has always been a way for Filipinos to come together. Whether it's a song and dance for a tribal meeting in the indigenous regions, a secular hymn sung in Sunday Mass, or a BTS song being screamed by hundreds of teenage girls. Singing is a staple of all Filipino communities. So it's no wonder that so many Filipino Americans aspire to become Broadway stars. It's one of the few constants that Filipinos can latch onto, knowing that they're making their ancestors proud no matter what. So the next time you roll up to your local Filipino restaurant and you hear everyone belting out their favorite pop ballad and you think, wow, it's just karaoke. They're trying way too hard, or why do they care so much? Isn't karaoke supposed to be silly? Remember, it's not just karaoke, and it's not just silly. For Filipinos, it's our culture.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah. He said it all, but I wish he was more lively in his presentation. It really looked like he was reading the speech that he had prepared. He read it beautifully, like he was telling a story, but it didn't show his passion for the topic, unfortunately. Also, the fact that they showed so many pictures, in the video and played so many songs, it would distract me from what he was actually saying. But he definitely gave us all the reasons as to why Filipinos are so good at singing. But to be honest, even though he mentioned a lot of influences, from the Spanish to the US and everything, I think the main reason now I am so sorry if there is drilling noises in the background. I hadn't noticed. As soon as I removed my earbuds, I heard the drilling, so it's really not up to me, and I hope it wasn't too bothersome during the reaction video. But yeah, in my opinion, it's really the love for music in general and karaoke. Karaoke is the number one reason without a doubt, because other cultures, right, also have been colonized by different countries, and they also have their traditional music and styles and everything, but they're not as good at singing as Filipinos. And the reason is karaoke. Karaoke is just part of their culture. Singing, everybody singing, bringing people together like that is part of the Filipino culture. Just like it's not part of other countries' culture, It's just not a thing that other countries do when they come together. But Filipinos, like, the number one thing that they usually do when they gather is sing together. And yeah, it just pushed them to be better at it. And they are, see, this is something I believe that he didn't really mention, or maybe he mentioned in passing and didn't really focus on, is the fact that Filipinos are proud, very proud. So if there is someone that sings really well and is recognized by the Filipinos and internationally, then they will push that artist, okay? And they will idolize that artist and want to be like that artist. And so they will practice and sing like that artist and just what's the word that I'm looking for? Just be obsessed really with the topic of that artist. You know what I'm saying? And in the case of singers, it's singing. And so they will research about it and try to be like that artist and excel like that artist, you know? So Filipinos go 100% at things that they love. And they love singing, so they go 100% at it, you know? It is what it is. I hope that this video was informative to you. It certainly was to me, but not that much because I'm already pretty familiar with the Filipino culture and traditions and why they love singing so much and why they're so good at it. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so much for watching this video. And of course, if you have gotten value out of this one, then do not hesitate to check out my other reaction videos right here.